It takes a second.
Actors are annoying anyway. All that calling each other darling. Start her up.
Yes, darling.
Hello and welcome. My name is Michael Jobity, and I will be hosting this live stream today, as well as the award ceremony on the 13th and 14th of December at the Ealing Picture House Cinema in West London. Welcome to the 6th edition of the Mirror Band UK Film Awards, powered by the Mirror Band Company and founded by our festival director and founder, Jay Manari, who is also an independent writer, producer, director, and member of Directors UK. The Mirror Band UK Film Awards, or MUFA, is a British BFI film fund-winning film festival listed on the British Council Festival Directory and London-based, focused on showcasing diversity in auteur movies, created despite all the challenges of an indie, low-budget production. Mirror Band provides a spotlight for underrepresented, emerging, and experienced independent filmmakers through on-site networking events, live stream industry talks, online film courses, and most recently, an independent film fund launched to support the making of more independent short films. If you haven't done so yet, please check out our affordable festival tickets, just £20 for 2 days of screenings and panels, and don't miss the limited film industry tickets, which offer exclusive industry access. Subscribe to our art house focused streaming platform, Stream Auteur, to watch all the officially selected candidates of this edition and vote for your favorite, which will win the Best Film Audience Award. And with that, let's get the ball rolling with our special guests. Please welcome Cheng, Sarah Lockett, and Shilly Dani Miller, shortlisted for Best Student Short with their film, Make the Bed. On Mother's Day, Rachel moves through her familiar routine, preparing breakfast for her husband before he leaves for work, tending to her Airbnb guest, and keeping her home in perfect order. Since her son moved out, her days have become a quiet repetition of care and control. As the day unfolds, small interactions with her guest, her neighbor, and her son expose the cracks in her marriage. When her husband finally returns home late and drunk, his careless behavior stains not just the bed she so carefully keeps, but the life she's been holding together. Afterwards, instead of making the bed, as she always does, Rachel folds the duvet neatly at its foot. A quiet act that marks the beginning of letting go. And with that, I want to give a special thanks to everyone for being on the live stream today. How is everyone doing? Welcome.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome, guys.
So happy to have you here today. So we'll kick off the Q&A. My first question is for yourself, Chi. As director, if you can walk us through the casting process, working with your amazing cast, and how you brought out the best of your cast to hit those emotional themes that were showcased in the film.
To be honest, because I was a fresher in the UK at the moment, so we go through the cast via backstage. I think there's a website called Backstage, and then we can find someone who is interested in this role. And at the moment, Shilly sent her video. Like, I think that that's something she look into the washing machine. That's something I want. So I tried to contact it to her, and then we had a in-person rehearsal, and then we talked about the story, the character backgrounds, and I think that's how it goes through and it brings to the story.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. I'll hand it over to Jay. I know he has some burning questions as well.
Well, I'm just thinking that, first of all, it's good to see people we collaborate with in the past being on the other side of the fence and being this absolutely by merit. So I'm really, really happy that she is one of our finalists for this edition. And so, first of all, the topic of we had just 2 days ago, it was the day again to remember people of the fight to eliminate violence against women. So the Mirable Sister event, which happened in 1960, and they started to celebrate only around the 2000s. So literally 40 years of obliteration of these women. And today we're talking about another sensitive topic, which is in a way an abusive relationship. Even if we're not talking about a woman being beaten up, still the way she's dismissed like a calf, or let's say someone who you hire to clear your bed, wash your laundries, and these stories that always happen to be related to the motherhood in the house, but that's not how it should be. So I think it's a really somehow a feminist movie that we have to talk about and put it in the right perspective, so to say. So my question, given this premise, is to Shilly: how did it feel for you to play that character, especially this quiet screaming that I could feel, especially when she's crying? Like she I think, to me, she was always on the verge, like she's gonna scream, now she's gonna take it out, and she's always holding, and it's so beautifully performed. So yeah, I wanted to hear from you. How did you work around this character?
I think that this story is an example of how someone can reach their limit. It's kind of a very calm and quiet example of how that can happen over time, and how someone can just be chipped away at over years. And someone reaching their limit doesn't have to be a loud and theatrical throwing of pans across the kitchen. And I think it's a story about how relationships break down over time, and how everyone does actually have their limits. It doesn't matter how dutiful you are, how much you're working for the greater good or to look after your family. Everybody gets to a point where they've had enough. And I think that's relevant not just for women in a marriage context of a marriage communication breaking down over years. I think it applies to everyone in any relationship they're in, or any environment they're in, whether you're at work, whether you're with your friends. Without communication and connection, relationships corrode. And I think for me, she's depressed, the character's depressed throughout this journey. And so I wanted that to come across. It's a very muted, I think, performance, actually, with intensity that's under the surface but not revealed. And I have to say that working with Chi, she was really clear in her direction. So as an actor, working with Chi was amazing, and the whole team. But right from the start, I think you were very intentional about the messages you wanted to convey, the symbolism running through, I think was really well done. So, for example, the outfit that Rachel wears in the last scene, just think little touches like that ran through. When she's putting her makeup on in front of the mirror, you can see that there's still some hope. You can also see that she's wondering whether it's worth it, and she knows what's going to happen. So yeah, I think it was an incredible character to play, and I had to draw on my experience of relationships falling apart. I've been through a divorce myself, not for the same reasons, but I think it really is an important story about the importance of connection and communication. And without going on too much longer, there's one scene where Rachel was sat with her husband at breakfast, and he literally doesn't even look at her for the entire scene. There's just no eye contact whatsoever. So there's things like that running through that I think were really great to perform and really well directed as well.
Fantastic. And actually, on that topic, I love performances that are silent. They're actually much more communicative, cinematic. And yours definitely stood out. I was thinking about framing, because I have a question for Chi. There is this shot, which I think is so amazing and symbolic to represent the relationship between husband and wife. So when they are having breakfast, the only time he's sitting probably at the same time she is there too, and you decided to frame it from outside the window, so they are divided by the closing point of the window. So you actually have two people sitting at the same table, but they are framed separately. And I'm sure that has some study behind it. Am I right, Chi?
Yeah, so I talked about this with our director of photographer, and we decided to showing outside. It's basically like we want to see, as a outsider, to see this marriage, and when we like trying to went to the recce, and we saw there's a, I don't know how to describe, but there's something between it just there at the window, and we think like, okay, that's an element like we can separate. They are actually in a different world now, and we found it's quite beautiful to see. And yeah.
Fantastic, thank you. And I mean, for Sarah, so I can finish my round of questions to everyone. You worked with Chi in the past. Was this the first time? And obviously, considering your role in the story, which is supporting Shilly and making sure that there is some sort of comparison between how there is a woman having her life and leading it outside of the house, and the other one was always confined, literally like a prisoner of her own four walls.
This is it. And the neighbor comes, this my character, the neighbor comes over and saying, you know, my husband's just about to take me out to a delicious restaurant with my son, and I work, you know, and I have a job, and not in a boastful way, but I think that Shilly's character could just see, this is what I could have. You know, people can be happy in marriages and I'm just not. And I think it's the comparison maybe that just tips her over, thinking, you know, I should have a marriage and a life like this, and I just don't, kind of thing. So I think that was my role, to show that there are things outside, and was coming with an offer of a piece of work that actually Shilly's character would really enjoy doing if she had the confidence to leap and do it.
Yes, totally. Love that. Michael, do you have any other questions? Something that maybe can relate to everyone so they can answer.
Yeah, initially I was going to say, were there any standout moments on set that were memorable, whether it be something funny that happened behind the scenes or some deep insight that you gained, whether it's playing your character or you're being a director? What was, maybe we'll do like a quick standout moment for each person. We'll maybe start with yourself, Sarah.
Well, I just parachuted in, and I only did actually a couple of hours work on the whole film. Most of that was spent just waiting and, you know, waiting for my moment. I think probably the actual filming time, I probably did less than half an hour, Chi. I don't know if you can remember, because I didn't have many lines. It was just kind of mostly from the one shot of me, and then I disappeared back off up to London. So, but as soon as I walked in, she was in charge. They had a schedule. They knew what they were doing. Everything was very well organized, and it just all seemed to be running smoothly. Maybe it wasn't behind the scenes, but what I saw, it was.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
That's amazing. Let's say, Chi, you can go next.
Actually, this story is quite meaningful for me, because this story, the idea is come from my culture. In Asia, most families, especially in my parents' generation, and I found this idea to here in the UK and combine the Western style, and then so it is quite interesting for me. And then I don't know if this also this also happened in Western marriage, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. I just like, this is the story from my background. And
Are those arranged marriages, Chi, that you know of, or are they the marriages of the people from the past, like your parents' age? Were those marriages arranged, or do they choose their partners in your country?
they choose their partners that in my country also. Just like, I feel like responsibility, this kind of things, how to say that? It's like, they're taking care of their children comes more like a responsibility and not like a love, or like taking care of his family.
Yeah.
She feels she has to stay, doesn't she, for her son?
Yeah.
She must stay. And then he kind of gives her permission, doesn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, totally. And I mean, we have definitely a chance to ask more questions in person. I had another one, but I'll hold it for the moment. So we really look forward to see you at the festival, hopefully the three of you. And I think it's because of time, we will have to wrap it up, but we really love the film and definitely look forward to sharing it.
Perfect. And maybe just a one line, Shilly, I just don't want to leave you out because I know we say we go around, just maybe a one line.
Shilly, of course. Sorry.
Very quickly, on a humorous note, right at the beginning, you see pictures of myself and Smith, who plays my husband, take lots of different pictures. We had lots of fun doing that. We went into restaurants and got all glammed up. So that was a really nice way to bond as a cast.
Fantastic.
I love that. I love that. Well, as Jay mentioned, we're going to wrap up the Q&A. I have a very quick reminder for the audience, and then we'll wrap it up. So quick reminder, the red carpet reception followed by the awards ceremony will take place at the Ealing Picture House Cinema on the 14th of December. Festival passes are available for purchase on the Mirror Band website at the link available in the comments section of this live stream. And starting from the 15th of December, all shortlisted films will be available to stream on our platform for 5 weeks. This is where you will have the chance to vote for your favorite, which will win the Best Film Audience Award. And with that, I just want to give a special thanks again to yourself, Shilly, Chi, and Sarah, and Jay, our festival director, for being on the live stream today. Congratulations again on your film, and looking forward to seeing it at the Mirror Band UK Film Awards.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.